Hello everyone, today I'm going to be showing you a sort of alternate version to the trick, which I'm not entirely sure of the exact name, but it's something like against all odds. It basically goes along the lines that magician has two decks, the spectator picks one, they're both in new deck order, they both shuffle the cards using the same moves, select a card, so they're swapping, and they swap decks the whole time. And then basically they find the card they picked from decks and they turn out to be the same. Now this is my version, which is slightly different. And I've got two decks here, so the spectator can pick either one. For this I'll just sort of close my eyes and swap them around a bit. And the spectator will use this one. So, they aren't in the same order. Just take out the Joker. But usually you would have them in the same order. And I will be using lovely new red bicycle rider back deck. So we can get rid of the boxes, taking out the jokers. So now, first things first, we're going to perform a in the hands riffle shuffle. Now, most spectators won't actually be able to perform this move, so I don't really use it in routines like this. But because I'm going to be playing the part of the spectator in this video, and it is a very good way of shuffling the cards, we'll do that. Now we'll switch decks, so we'll switch decks after each move. Now what we're going to do is a Hindu shuffle. This is what I usually use instead of the riffle shuffle, because it's different to an overhand shuffle, which is what a spectator will usually do, and most spectators can do it with only very brief instructions. So we switch decks again. Now the spectator will choose to do an overhand shuffle, so I'll just be like, right, we'll shuffle the cards like this. I'll do the same. Now what we're each, I'll switch decks. Now what we're each going to do is just go through the decks and pick a card and just place it down here. Now, what's going to happen is I'm going to look at my card and I'm going to show the camera the spectator's card. Okay, so I promise I didn't look at this card, but anyway, so what we're now going to do is both put our cards back into the decks and shuffle them in. Now, I'm going to ask the spectator to pick a deck again, and normally what a magician will do is they'll use a magician's choice. So if you say the deck they want you to pick, say, oh, alright, we'll use that one. And then if you say the wrong one, they'll say, alright, we'll get rid of that one. But I'm going to be very specific. You're going to pick a deck, and you're going to look through that deck and pull out your card. And let's just say they say this one, doesn't really matter. So what we're both going to do is just look through and pull out the cards that we selected. And spectator's going to do that. And right, I'm assuming that this was the spectator's card, because if it wasn't, then the trick hasn't worked. But so then what we'll do is we'll say, now what are the odds of them being the same? And they'll probably say like 1,000,000,000 to 1 or something. Probably not quite that much, but if we flip them over, they are identical. So that's the trick. Now, the way this is done is using marked decks. So I have 2 marked decks. I have this pre-made marked Split Spades, David Blaine, Mind Reading deck. And you can see here this card's the Queen of Diamonds. There's a Q and a diamond there. This one's the Jack of Clubs. J and a club. I'm not sure if you can quite see that. There we go. Get it to focus. So I really like this deck. It handles well, and the markings are really easy to see. And then this is a deck that I marked myself. It's just Bicycle Ride Back red, and I marked it using a red Sharpie. And basically, I don't have time to go into the exact details of it, but I marked this flower here, and this wave here, and the same on the other side. So I can tell that this is the 10 of clubs, this here is the 9 of spades, and this here is the 2 of hearts. Now, one thing that you'll notice is that if you riffle through the cards when they're marked in this way, you'll notice that the design like flickers around if you've marked them in a similar way to the way I have. And you might be able to see it happening here. Now, if the spectator sees that, it's all over. So what I do is I perform the riffle shuffle like this, if I'm going to riffle shuffle them, and that way the spectator doesn't get to see the backs. But like I said, the spectator doesn't usually know how to do a riffle shuffle, so I don't usually use that, and they don't really notice so much when you're doing a shuffle like that. So, I mean, you should be able to work out how it's done, but obviously when they put down their card, I mean, I've just selected any random card I like. So the reason I use 2 marked decks is so that they can choose when to switch decks if they want to. But here are the 2 cards. I don't know if the camera will focus, but this here is the 8 of clubs, but that doesn't really matter. But I can see here that this is the 7 of diamonds. So when they put that back in, I'm remembering the 7 of diamonds. And then I just pull out the 7 of diamonds, and they'll pull out the 7 of diamonds. It really is that simple. Yeah, that's about it. I might do a future video explaining how to do this without using trick decks. And that's the original trick. But I was just thinking of different ways of doing it, and since I had 2 marked decks, this came to mind. So thanks for watching. Bye.